There are some tools up here that are embedded into this part of the top toolbar. And this allows us, this kind of can select and deselect what is, this can turn on and off what's selectable in our viewport. So right now, this first one, if you see down here, this is the help bar again. So any display short help tips. So I can look down here as I hover over these. Also, if I hover long enough, a little box might pop up. This says this is for handle objects. This is for joints. This is for meshes and curves. So I'm going to turn off mesh. Like I don't want to be able to select the mesh. So this is just a way that I can turn off making the mesh selectable. So I'm just able to go in and select just the joints. These are the joints. These are curves. So I'm going to start to test this model. And I'm realizing I might have wanted to put a joint right here. So this is where I start to kind of test the model and test the joint hierarchy. Again, maybe I want to make this mesh selectable and unbind the skin. And we just kind of have to test things out. I want to insert a joint at this point. So let's insert a joint, and I want to insert one. Let's see if it'll let me insert one from here. Let me insert it like this. Now I'm going to translate these over. So inserting a joint, and maybe let's see if I can actually insert it along this bone. I'd like to insert a joint. I don't know if it's going to let me. Kind of being a little finicky. Might want me to be working in one of the orthographic views. That's a little bit easier. So I might insert a joint here. Let me then change the layout of this wing. I'm going to always use translate, and I'm always going to work, get this mesh to not be selectable again. And I'm always going to work with translating the joints rather than rotating them at this point. I don't want to rotate anything. I want to maintain that this skeleton and every joint has a 0, 0, 0 at this T pose. Now this is a bird, it's not a human, but it's kind of doing a T pose where its wings are stretched out, its feet are stretched out so that we can see the full mesh. So this is our kind of default animation position for this bird. So I think I do want this joint actually to be right here. I want it to be right right there at the wing. And this is good like that. Now I'm going to go in and actually select this joint on this side, and I'm going to delete it so that I can mirror this again. I'm going to have to go in and rename these. So let me do that first. This is going to be left wing. Left wing. I might call this middle joint. And then I still have the wing tip. So let me go to my skeleton and let's mirror the joints here. It's doing the same thing. Great. Now the only thing I want to do is orient the joints so that and I'm going to do the same thing on this side. I'm going to say orient joints again. Okay. So that looks a little better. Now let's try this again. This is the process though. You're going to have to go back and forth as you're trying to see what actually is going to work best for how to rig your model. It's not going to be the first time you do it. Let's again select the root. Let's select the select the mesh, skin, bind skin. Okay, and now I have a joint here that when I rotate it, I'm going to be able to just rotate that wing, which is going to be really nice right there where it meets the body. But you can see that the way that it's deforming here, it's also deforming the side of the body. And that's because of the way that those weights are painted. That means this joint is influencing the body, and I don't want it to. So I can, and this is why we always want our joints to have 0, 0, 0. If I go in here and zero these out, right, I have my initial kind of my initial T-pose position here on this bird.